salva Karl to Lucas Paquetá. You 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 salva.
Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream, and today we're talking transfers, and specifically, we're talking at Lucas Paquetá. Fantastic football player, of course. Manchester City were in for him in the summer before a deal for Lucas Paquetá. Lucas Paquetá fell through due to an investigation due to suspicious yellow cards placed on Lucas Paquetá last season. So the deal obviously fell through. City obviously didn't progress with the deal. Why would we when there's an investigation going on? It could be banned for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. And we've been waiting. We've been waiting to see what's going on here. Are we going to go back in for Lucas Paquetá? Well, the news coming out today, and to be fair, this has been sort of rumoured for a long time, but the news coming out today, Brazil national team director Rodrigo Caetano says all investigations into Lucas Paquetá have been dropped, with a quote coming from him saying a very high-level athlete does not now have any investigation or accusations underway, which has obviously led for the West Ham fan base to be happy on one hand, but obviously not happy on the other, because obviously that means that Lucas Paquetá will probably leave in West Ham this summer for a team playing Champions League football. Will it be Manchester City? Are City going to go back in for him? Now, for me personally, I really want City to go back in for Lucas Paquetá, yeah? Once these charges are actually confirmed to be dropped, but it looks like they're dropped now. It looks like they're just finalising the situation before a statement and it's going to be released. But the Brazil national team director has confirmed that they're no longer, taking place. I think Lucas Paquetá is a fantastic footballer. I think he's exactly what this team needs. You've got to think as well, is Bernardo Silva going to leave this club in the summer? I would say it's probable that Bernardo Silva is going to leave this summer. Not 100% guaranteed. Nothing in life's guaranteed, but the guy's got a £50 million release clause, guys. Yeah, someone's probably going to come in for him. I think as well, Bernardo's probably at this point accepted he's not going to go Barcelona. PSG are obviously going to need to make some signings, with Mbappe going to leave. And I think PSG are going to make a move for Bernardo Silva, and a £50 million will be released. And I've said for some time, Lucas Paquetá is not a Kevin De Bruyne replacement. Lucas Paquetá, for me, is actually a Bernardo Silva replacement. If you look at Lucas Paquetá, yeah, he can play left, he can play right, he can probably play false nine, and he can play attacking midfielder. Yeah, he can add goals to our game. He can add assists to our game. He works extremely hard. Do not think, if you don't watch too much of Lucas Paquetá, don't think that just because he's a Brazilian player and he's got this flair that he doesn't work hard. Lucas Paquetá works very, very, very hard off the ball. Very hard off the ball. So don't worry about that. I know a lot of City fans, not really into the sort of the Neymar type players, and that's fine. It's your own personal preference. But Lucas Paquetá does not fall into that category. He works very, very hard. And I think something that we've missed this year, since Ilkay Gundogan left in the summer, we've not had that player in midfield, obviously, because Kev's been injured for so long, who can get us them goals or assists other than Phil Foden. Kovacic, while Kovacic is a great player and is a very calm player on the ball, he's not really someone that's typically got goals or assists. We know that. You can have a look through his whole career. The guy's 29. Yeah, I think he's got like 25 assists in his whole career and maybe like 20 goals. This guy doesn't score goals. He doesn't get assists. That's not his game. Yeah, and Bernardo Silva, say it all the time, Bernardo Silva's not a player that gets a lot of goals or assists. You'll be looking to get 10 goals from Bernardo Silva. So we've lost a massive part of our arsenal from that midfield, because previously we've had David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. Both players can get goals or assists. Last year we had Ilkay Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne. Both players can get goals or assists. This year, we've typically only had one player in that midfield who can get goals or assists. Now, luckily for us, Rodri stepped up massively. Rodri stepped up and he's getting goals and assists. And he's kind of, I wouldn't say filling the void of Gundogan because he's not up there and constantly a threat like Ilkay Gundogan was, but he's been chipping away. But I do feel that because we dominate the ball and teams play this super low block against us, it is for me really crucial that you have two players in the midfield that can get goals or assists. I just feel that if you have one player in there that can get goals or assists, you're putting a lot of pressure on that player. Whether it's Kevin De Bruyne, whether it's Phil Foden, you're putting a lot of pressure. For example, yesterday against United, imagine if Phil Foden wasn't playing and that was Kovacic. Kevin De Bruyne was poor against United. That's it, done. You got nothing in the midfield because Kovacic ain't creating you nothing. So if Kevin De Bruyne has an off day like he did against United, who's creating the chances from the midfield? Rodri, potentially, but he's your DM. If you have two, like we did against United, Kevin De Bruyne has an off day, no problem. You got Phil Foden to step up. Phil Foden has an off day. Kevin De Bruyne will probably step up. It's unlikely that we're going to play a game where both Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden have an off day. Just like last year, it was unlikely that Ilkay Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne would both have an off day. Same with David Silva, and it was David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, or David Silva and Gundogan. If you have two players in there, you know what I mean? Something's got to go seriously wrong for both players to have an off day. But I do feel like this year we have missed that Gundogan. I think we've really missed Gundogan at times this season. You know, especially the big games, Gundogan scored a lot of big goals, man. A lot of big goals. You look at the games against Spurs, yeah, the draw at the Etihad, even though we scored 3. You look at the game against Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home, yeah. These games, if you have that extra player in the midfield that can create, like a Gundogan, I just feel like he adds a different dynamic. You know, there's only so many players the opposition can man-mark before they're just like, whoa, bamboozled. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you have someone like a Kovacic in there, depending on the game, like when you play in Arsenal and that's fine to play Kovacic or Liverpool. I'm talking about the games where maybe it's a bit more tight. So like Chelsea, for example, was a tight game. Liverpool at home was a tight game, but depends if the team opens up. And if you can get Lucas Paquetá in there, and this is another thing I need to say, by the way. People already on Twitter are going, well, LB, what we're going to do if we get Lucas Paquetá when we got Foden and Kevin De Bruyne? Well, hang on a minute. Hang on. Kevin De Bruyne's 33 years old, mate. Yeah, he's just had a massive surgery on his hamstring, as you can all see whenever you see the photos of his hamstring scar. This guy, sorry to break it to you, he's not going to be around forever, and you're going to have to start managing his minutes. Do you know what I mean? He's already, since he's come back from injury, there's already been a couple of games where Kevin De Bruyne has looked super tired. You're going to have someone else in there. You're going to have to. So if you get Lucas Paquetá, you know, you've got Lucas Paquetá, Foden, and Kevin De Bruyne. You've got 3 players there that can all rotate. Furthermore, Lucas Paquetá can play on the wings. Yeah, I've seen him play on the left-hand side a few times for West Ham, and in fact, more than a few times. Sure, he could do a job on the right. And if needs must, if Pep Guardiola ever wanted to change the tactics and maybe go into and maybe go back to a false 9, I'm pretty sure Lucas Paquetá could play that as well. I'm not saying that like, we are going to do that, but I'm just saying like if we needed to, the option is there. So that's not an issue for me. So then you look at the price, 85 million quid. All right, it's a bit toppy. But in this day and age, when you got Enzo Fernandez going for 120 or whatever it was, Caicedo 115, you got Rice going for 105, Anthony went for 80. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot more players as well there, guys, that you probably could think of. I'm looking at this and going, this is a good deal. 85 million quid. He's experienced in the national team. He obviously did really well with West Ham last year in the Conference League. He works hard off the ball. He's got great on-the-ball abilities. He can add goals, assists. Had he Prem proven? What's there not to like? Now, of course, sometimes you guys might just be like, oh, I'm just not a fan of the player. And of course, that's fine. Like, we all have our individual preferences. I like Paquetá. Some of you guys might not like Paquetá, but it just looks like a simple deal. You know, again, this is if it is actually dropped, which obviously it would be pretty mad now for this Brazilian director to say they've been dropped and then for them not to be dropped. I mean, that'd be a bit weird for the Brazilian guy to say it. But you know, we're waiting now on this confirmation. But I just don't see why we wouldn't go ahead with this deal. We wanted him last year. Why not go get him? Why not go get him? Let's have a look at some of the comments in the chat. Big up to Blue Tone. Good to see you, man. It says, couple of quid. towards TFRV. Get it done. City says Blue Tom. Good to see you, Todd. Hopefully we'll have a show this week, man. And big up to E Inc. says, is he the alternative to Wirtz Musiala? I don't think we're getting Wirtz. I don't think we're getting Wirtz. I'd love to see Wirtz at City. I just don't think it's going to happen, man. I think he's staying in Germany, bro. Musiala. I mean, the thing is, what you got to remember is here, yeah, we're losing Bernardo Silva, yeah, and Kevin De Bruyne has got 1 more year, 2 more years max. So, and I've seen, not Tony, was it? Told me on Twitter, said we're looking at 2 midfielders. So don't be surprised if we get Lucas Paquetá and we might go for Musiala. I really wouldn't be surprised if City went for that, because we're going to be losing Bernardo Silva and you're going to be losing Kevin De Bruyne in the next 18 months. So don't be surprised if we go for 2. Now, obviously, which one's a more likely one? You got to say Lucas Paquetá because he's got a release clause. We wanted him last year, etc., etc. But this, to me, just looks like a no-brainer. It really does look like a no-brainer, guys, to be honest with you. I just want to re-show you guys the statement again that has come from this Brazilian director for people that have just joined. This has come from the Brazilian football director. Yeah, let me show you this on screen. Rodrigo Catiano, whatever his name is a Brazilian national team director, a very high athlete. He does not have any investigations or accusations underway. And again, this has led the West Ham fan base to be obviously a weird one because they're a bit disappointed with it. Happy for him. But with that, he's gone in the summer. It's been a pleasure, beautiful game. So obviously they know that he's going to be leaving, which is a bit of a madness. But what can you do? What can you do? I have sent Martin the link. I want to get his take on it. Stop trying to run KDB out the club, LB. I'm not trying to run him out of the club, bro. I'm not. But obviously we've got to be realistic about Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, he's 33 years old, right? Oh, he's 32. Sorry, he's 33 in June. Yeah, listen. How long has he got left at City? A year, 2 years? I think it's good to get a replacement in. And by the way, Naiman says LB Kev stayed for 5 more years. If you stay five more years, great. But I've always said Lucas Paquetá is not the replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, he's not the replacement. He's the replacement for Bernardo Silva. He's the replacement for Bernardo Silva, man. So yeah, that's where we're at with that one. It's an interesting one. Why would Kevin leave? He can't play 30 games. No more, says Herbal. Hamstrings made of paper. Well, he's had obviously this big surgery. It is what it is. You know what I mean? What can you do? Hopefully he's going to be fine. But you don't know. You don't know. And I think it would be wise. To get, because we've been linked with Musiala. See what happens there. Jimmy says, "Come on, LB. Real have 2 midfielders playing top class footy in their later 30s. KDB will play a good foot for you." Yeah, no. I'm not saying I don't want him to stay. I'm saying that it would be wise for Manchester City to get another player in and have 3 attacking options, just like we had last year with Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Foden. Just like we've had in the years before with David Silva, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne. At the moment, we only have 2, and that puts huge pressure on these players. And like I say, Lucas Paquetá is so versatile. He can play in that midfield. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. And he can play false 9. So it just makes sense. He's Premier League proven. And he's a quality player. So I really don't see why we wouldn't be in for this. Obviously, we wanted him in the summer. So I don't see, to be honest with you, why we would come out of that, to be honest with you. Someone just sent me a tweet. Big up to H Kid. I've just seen your tweet, man. Yeah, about Phil Foden's drinking some Somali tea. Big up to Phil Foden, bro. Come on. There we go. But yeah, the West Ham fans are obviously a little bit disappointed about this news. It's a bit of a weird one for them because obviously they're not disappointed because he's staying, but at the same time, they're gutted because he's going to be leaving. But I think this guy's a Rolls-Royce player. I think he's a top draw player. I really, really do. And let's have a look at what he's doing this year in the league in terms of stats, guys. Yeah. I know some of you guys don't like looking at the G&A stats, but it's just having a quick look. It's nothing serious, man. We don't need to deep it too hard. Let's load this up. Right, Lucas Paquetá this year, 29 games, 5 goals, 6 assists. That's 2,276 minutes played. That's a goal involvement every 206 minutes. You have to remind yourself, though, he's playing, obviously, at West Ham with, the best respect to West Ham. He's going to be playing with Erling Haaland. He's going to be playing with Phil Foden, exactly, etc. So I think these are decent. Decent numbers, to be honest with you. Obviously, 2 goals only in the Premier League is probably a little bit low to where he wants to be. But you'd probably have to speak to a West Ham fan to find out maybe exactly what's going on there. But whenever I watch him, I think he's chalk and cheese, man. I've seen him in the big games as well. Which games did we watch him in this year? Because I've done a couple of West Ham watch-alongs. Watched him in this Arsenal game because we did and listen, he was class in that 33 minutes. I know it was only 33 minutes before he got injured, but he was absolutely unbelievable. Look at this, 3 assists in one game, guys. 3 assists in one game. He got an assist against United. And by all accounts, since he come back in these last 2 games, they've been much better as well. They've been much better. So, yeah, listen, I think he's a top player. Let's have a look at his injury record, actually, because obviously he was injured. Where's the injury record? Here we go. Injury history. Let's have a look at his injury record. Oh, that looks pretty decent, to be fair. Given the fact he is 28. He's only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 injuries in his whole career. That's pretty decent, to be honest with you guys. And look at these 2 here. The thigh problem, foot injuries, out for a week. 2 weeks, under a week. Then he had this serious one, this calf injury. But I think they rushed him back on that one as well. Oh, he's 26 apparently. Yeah, he's 26. He's 26. That's a decent injury record, man. That's a good record. So, yeah, no issues there on the injury record. No issues there at all. I'm 100% taking that as a decent record. Big up to Jake with a super chat. Says, how anyone wouldn't want him is mad. Well, listen, Jake. People want to have their own opinions in it. And if they don't like him, they don't like him. That's fair enough. But obviously, you're on the same page as me. I think whenever I've watched him, he just looks mega. He looks mega. He does. I don't know whether maybe, I'm just going to speculate, some people who don't want him potentially haven't really seen him that much, because I remember when we were first linked with him back in the summer, I was like, I don't know about this guy. And then obviously when it got serious, the interest, I started proper paying attention. I was like, no, actually this guy's class. So maybe that could be a reason. I suppose everyone's got their own views, but I'm with you, mate. I'm with you 100%. I think this guy's a top player. He's got that little bit of flair about his game as well, which could be nice. Maybe Pep will coach that out of him. We'll have to wait and see. But honestly, I just think he just fit into our team. I think he just fit into our team perfectly. And that actually leads me on to this next super chat, actually, from Dash. Where do you think Paquetá will predominantly play? I don't know. I think he'll be moved around, mate. I think he'll be moved around, honestly, because I genuinely think he can play anywhere. Let's have a look at his stats, man, and then I'll bring Martin in because I've got Martin on to give us his thoughts. Let's have a look at his career where he's played. So look at this on the right hand side. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in any more than that. But look at this, guys, on the right here. Yeah, look at the positions he's played. He's played everywhere, man. Attacking midfield, clearly. Central midfield is his natural position. That's where he's played the most. But he's played off of the left a few times. Played off the right a few times there as well. So where's he played most this year? If we look at this year, if we look at the Premier League for West Ham, where's he played? Look, left wing, centre mid, attacking. So he's played mainly off the left this year, which is kind of where I've seen him more for that left-hand side. But listen, I just think, I think you're buying a player that is versatile, that can play in multiple positions, a bit like Bernardo Silva. And that's why I personally think he is the Bernardo Silva replacement. Listen, let me get Martin in here. Martin, I don't know if you've seen the news. There's heavy speculation now coming out that this investigation on Lucas Paquetá is being dropped. The Brazilian national director of football, Rodrigo Catano, says investigations into Lucas Paquetá have been dropped. So I guess we're just waiting for the final sort of statement to be released or whatever. But it is looking, and to be fair, even when the charges came out, most people in the know were saying, This is not going to be proven. What's your take on Lucas Paquetá? It'd be around 85 million quid. Do you want him at City, or are you not a fan?
Yeah, 100%. I think the what I got told was the issue was not just the FA but the Brazilian FA. It's clear the Brazilian FA have cleared their part up. I think we'll probably now the next stage will be hearing from the English FA on it. But from what the news I got, reportedly, I always say reportedly just to cover myself, is as soon as that got cleared, it was going to get done. It was, because it's a simple deal and he's versatile. Can play on the right, can play as 10, can play as an 8. He's what you call the perfect Pep Guardiola player. Listen, no opposition player goes round hugging all the coaches and the manager if there is no connection all there. To me, it's going to happen. Probably, I'm guessing on this. I do think he'll be the Bernardo replacement.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect.
That's the downside to this side, isn't it, Martin?
Yeah, no,
that's
of course.
Downside.
Yeah, of course it is. But listen, I'm in my own head. As soon as Bernardo asked for that release clause, I knew where we were going with it this summer. You knew where we were going. I know everyone had this dream of Benfica. Benfica were never going to come in. That release clause wasn't put in for Benfica. Come on, we're just going to be honest with ourselves on that one. I've never believed the Vert stuff. I know we like him, but I've never seen Verts. I'll be honest, I don't see Verts ever coming to the Premier League, full stop. I see Verts in a Bayern Munich shirt, because Bayern Munich, if you look, are going to rebuild their whole team, it looks like, because everyone wants to jump ship out of that place. I think Bayern are going to go through a rebuild. It could be Verts who joins them. And I don't think Paquetá will be the only midfielder. I think Tommy said it. The info I got, it was 2 midfielders this summer. KD. The other thing with Verts is the plans are to sit down with KDB and extend. So the thing is, when you've got Foden, you've got KDB, you've got Alvarez, where are you putting Verts? It's not as simple. Here we go with this one. I know we're all wanting to play FC24 and go out and buy him and him and him and him over there. For me, we've just got to trust Pep. We've got to trust this process. I think it's a good thing, because the other side of this, Pep Guardiola will sign an extension.
Oh, why you say that?
Why would Pep wants Paquetá? Why would Pep want a player and then ditch?
Well, he might.
I don't
know.
No, to me, I think all roads will be Pep extends. Paquetá will come in. Don't know who the other one will be. I think didn't Tommy put out, was it last week, of if the FA gets cleared, the Paquetá deal becomes a very simple deal. And we have release clause, I've said.
Yeah, well, let's just say it's a release clause. They reckon the release clause is around 85-90 million, which is basically what we agreed a fee from last time. So, and I would also say that this isn't like shock news, really. Like, soon as this news come out about the gambling charges, most people in the know were saying that, like, he's probably going to get off with it, because it wasn't even him that done the bets. It was like family members or like friends or whatever, like on this island. So they're going to have to prove that Paquetá like told him that he was going to get, like, how are you going to prove that? So most people at the time said like he's going to get off of it. It's just a matter of like going through due process, and the FA's obviously got to do their proper investigation, and that obviously threw it off. But like now it's going to come out. Hopefully it's going to be done soon, because I just think he's class player. What do you say, Martin, about these people that are a bit concerned maybe about like we've got Kevin De Bruyne, like we expect Kevin De Bruyne to extend. We've got Phil Foden. Do we need Paquetá? Like, where's Paquetá going to play? I personally think that you need that third player who can play in that midfield that can get you goals and assists. And just reminder that Paquetá can play other positions as well. Like, do you think that we'll be over? Some people say we're going to have too many players in that midfield. Like, what's your take on that? Oh, is he gone? Oh, I think we lost him, guys. I think we lost him. Oh no. Hopefully he'll come back in a sec. But yeah, I don't think honestly, I don't think that we'll be too stacked in the middle. I do think that like Kovacic or Nunes, like one of those positions, might be a little bit at risk, but I don't think anything else will be an issue. I genuinely think that I think modern day. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you've seen this Champions League. That's an extra 2 games. Yeah, have you all seen the tweet this morning that's gone out on the Champions League official account? Because obviously next year the Champions League is changing. It's not going to be 6 games anymore in the group stage. It's 8. So that's an extra 2 games. Club World Cup, that's going from an invite-only tournament if you win the Champions League, just to everyone's being invited at the end of the season or start of the season, whatever. That's another competition. So you got to look at this and going, fundamentally, football's changing. We're getting even more matches, more games. We've got a 25-man squad. Typically, Pep Guardiola doesn't like having a big squad. He likes having a smaller squad with lots of versatile players, having maybe 16 players or something like that. I think that next year and the year after that, I think we've got to look at just adding maybe 1 or 2 extra players into the team. You don't have to go drastic. I'm not saying that you have to like start getting loads of players in, but I do think you might need an extra player here or there. And getting a player like Lucas Paquetá, who is versatile, just like Bernardo Silva. I said this from day one. Lucas Paquetá, I believe, will be Bernardo Silva's replacement. And clearly that's a gutting situation because no one wants Bernardo Silva to leave. But if we're being honest, yeah, we're lucky to keep Bernardo Silva this long. Because he's been wanting to leave for 2-3 years. Yeah, he probably should have gone back in 2022, 2021. I've had him till 2024, 2025. You know, if we get 50 mil for him, fair dues. It's a bit lower than that, but what can you do? He could have left on a free if he didn't sign a new contract. You go and get Lucas Paquetá, 85 million. What's that? 35 million pound net spend on Lucas Paquetá? I don't think that's a bad deal at all. I really don't think that is a bad deal at all. Be able to sign Silva with a super chat, man. He says, my Brazilian blood is pumping. My dad loves this guy. We must sign him. If we don't, I will cry. Listen, I think he's a class player. I really, really think he's a class player, bro. And I agree. I think we need him, especially if we lose Bernardo Silva. Yeah, because if you lose Bernardo Silva, which is unfortunately likely in the summer, you've got to get a player that is as versatile as Bernardo Silva. And then you've also got to add the problem is that player's also got to have quality. Yeah, it's no good just playing. There's no good buying a player who's versatile if they're crap. Yeah, you got to get a player who's versatile, like Bernardo Silva, who can play false 9 right. He can play left. He can play midfield. Don't matter if they're crap. It's irrelevant, isn't it? I'm versatile. I could play left wing, right wing, false 9 midfield. I'll be shit. Yeah, and I'll probably not do anything. And my passing accuracy will stink and I'll never score or create no chances. I can do it. You know what I mean? You need to get the quality in. And for me, Lucas Paquetá just stares us in the face and goes, boom. Now, an interesting thing about Lucas Paquetá, guys, is this. Will we be alone in going for him? Because if you look at the top teams, you look at Liverpool, yeah? You look at Arsenal. And then you look at the likes of PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, maybe even Barcelona if they can find some money. Will anyone else going for Paquetá? I would be surprised if we're the only football club going for Paquetá. Now, I think we'll have the pull for him. Yeah, we got Pep Guardiola. We wanted him last year when seemingly no one else did. I think that should set us up in a good position with Lucas Paquetá. Paquetá will obviously feel wanted. He'll feel like, oh, we want him at City. And obviously when we played West Ham, Martin mentioned it. Paquetá was hugging Pep Guardiola and high-fiving the coaches and that. It seems like he wants to come. But we will be the only team in there for him. Because if I was Arsenal, yeah, if I was Liverpool, if I was Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, I'd be going for him as well. It's a release clause. Why would you not go for him? I'd like to think, though, given the fact that we was in for him last year and we was the only team in for him, I'd like to think that he would be like, nah, I want to go City. City wanted me last year. They want me again. I'm going to go there. It's Premier League as well. Best team in the world, yeah, on paper at the moment. So yeah, but I just think he's a top player. I really, really do. And it's quite funny because when we were first linked with him, I wasn't that like. To be fair, I think I was on the come down from Jude Bellingham because we was going for Jude Bellingham all summer, all year. In fact, not just all summer. We was going for him since January. It was like Jude Bellingham, Jude Bellingham, Jude Bellingham. Then we didn't get Bellingham. Then we lost Rice, and then we went on to Paquetá, and I was kind of like, oh, forget it. But it wasn't. It was more. I think it was more just like, oh man, like we've lost Jude Bellingham, and I knew Jude Bellingham was going to tear up trees, man, because he's an unbelievable player. He really is. Listen, we got Martin back now. Big up, Martin. I can't remember.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right, man. You're calling in on the go, man. So I appreciate it. I don't know where you was at though with your comments. Do you remember what you were saying?
No, just talking about Paquetá now. To me, it's one of them. Just fits like a glove.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, people are going to be really upset about the price. That's the going rate for a midfielder in the Premier League now.
I don't think you should be upset about the price, man. I think the price is a good price. Well, not a good price.
I don't. It's not my money. I don't know what.
It's not a good price, but like at the end of the day, like you lose Bernardo Silva for 50 million, which is underpriced, but it is what it is. Like otherwise, he wouldn't going to sign a contract. It's 35 million pound net spend on Lucas Paquetá. He's 26. He's going to be here for 5, 6, 7 years. You know, you look at it like that. I think when you've got Caicedo going for 115, you got Enzo going for 120, you got Rice going for 105. You look at Paquetá, Martin. Yeah, he's proven at international level. He's played international football. Yeah. He's played European football. Obviously, not too many Champions League games, but he's played European football in the Conference League, Europa League. He's Prem proven. He works extremely hard. This is something that I keep saying, Martin, because I feel like a lot of City fans maybe who've not watched Lucas Paquetá, they just look at him and go, "Oh, he's a Brazilian. He does all this flair shit. He's not going to fit our system." Actually, if you watch Lucas Paquetá, he is so hard working. He works extremely hard off the ball. And I don't think a lot of City fans recognise that because they probably don't watch too much West Ham. And why would they?
Well, two things. I think part of it is with some City fans, because we've been linked with some Musiala, stars in your eyes appear. And it's like the Bellingham stuff. Do you remember? Went from Bellingham to Rice to Nunes. Yeah. So everyone immediately went against Nunes because, he wasn't the name, third one down. Same with Paquetá. Because we've been linked with some Musiala, everyone's going to... Paquetá has been wanted by City since when he was at Lyon, wasn't he? Was it Lyon? Where was he at?
Yeah, Lyon.
That's when Pep first took an interest. Pep Guardiola, again, Nunes took an interest at Sporting Lisbon. We don't just stop scouting a player. We watched them for 2 or 3 years. No coincidence, by the way, West Ham were absolute bobbins when he was out injured. Suddenly he's back in the team, whack, they're off again.
Bro, they didn't win a game. Look at this. Look at this on the screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, Martin.
I'm not being funny here, but...
Can you see that, Martin?
Yeah.
They didn't win a single game when he was out injured. They drew against Brighton, drew against Sheffield United, drew against Bournemouth, lost against Man United, lost against Arsenal, lost against Forest. Guess what? He's back in the team against Brentford. They win. Guess what? He's back in the team against Everton. He win. Is that a coincidence?
No, I think so. As fans, we've got to come out of this. We want elite names. We're not a club that do superstars. We never have been, really. We always buy that next level down and then turn them into a world-class superstar. Haaland is really the only one.
Yeah, I was going to say Haaland's probably the only one.
Only one top shelf. Kevin De Bruyne was known as a reject when we got him.
Yeah. We got cooked for signing him.
David Silva was umming and ahhing for years. Yaya Toure was on his way out of Barca. They were playing him as bloody centre-back. So I think we've just got to... I keep saying it, trust the process of, and I'm not trying to be an Arsenal fan here, and I'm not trying to copy their wording, but Pep Guardiola doesn't sign many duds. And when I look at a player, first thing I look at, how many positions can they play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that was a major issue with Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips had one position only, CDM. So it hampered him. You could never put Calvin anywhere else.
True.
But with Paquetá, right wing, like we said, 8, 10, move him around. By the way, we are, whether Pep likes this or not, I think we'll need a bigger squad at some point because you've got the Euros coming up.
I said
you've got bigger games. By the way, we've got the World Club Cup in 2025.
Yeah. Have you seen the Champions League news? I've seen the Champions League as well. That's 2 extra games.
So we are going to need a bigger squad, but and we don't, and something I think I told you privately is we don't know what's going to happen with 1 or 2 players yet. Some will leave in the summer as well. It's whether they accept certain positions within a squad. So if certain players are allowed, you're going to be 4th choice or this, that, and the other, then they'll stay. If they're not, the options will be there. I think there was rumours of Kovacic to Galatasaray on loan because if he's going to get guaranteed first-team football, so be it. This is the thing, we've just got to relax and calm down. Honestly, I think I said it on your stream weeks ago. I got told expect a busy summer. And I think we're just moving. I think you're going to see City move with urgency, quickness this season.
Well, you see that already, Matt. Sorry to interrupt you. You see that already with the Savio signing. Savio dusted in February. already signed him. Now, whether he's going to be here next summer, who knows? Might be, might not be. Like, time will tell. But like, we're already getting deals done. It's quite funny, actually. Big up to who was that in the chat? Big up to Daniel, obviously a West Ham fan, says, please don't sign Lucas Paquetá from us. Listen, mate, I completely understand why you don't want to sell Lucas Paquetá, because he is a fantastic footballer. Since we've been linked with Paquetá, I've watched a lot more West Ham this year because I want to see like what he's like, because obviously we was going to sign him in the summer. A deal was agreed before the gambling thing is. And he is. I can see why West Ham fans love this guy, because he's absolutely phenomenal. And Daniel will know this, obviously, being a West Ham fan. But, and again, I keep saying this because I think it's important for City fans to know. But his off the ball work rate, it shocked me when we actually watch him. Like, this guy, like, sprinting around, making challenges, like, defensive work is unbelievable. And listen, I can understand why you don't want him to go. Can I ask you a question then? So where do you think this leaves the likes of Kovacic, Nunes, who are traditionally midfielders? Of course, Nunes has been flirted with the wing, but like, do you think there's going, even with the added games of Champions League, which is going to be 2 extra games minimum, and then the Club World Cup, which is going to be an annual competition, I believe, or is it twice? It's once every 2 years, maybe. That's going to be, and we're going to be in that anyway. Do you think that the squad is going to be able to handle Kovacic, Nunes, KDB, Foden, and Paquetá, or do you think one of those has to make way?
If we sign, say, a Kimmich or a Neto, then yes, I do think someone will make way. Who that is, I'm guessing. I'll be totally guessing. Totally guessing. But like I said, I think the Paquetá stuff will be, and again, not going to like this, I think he's Bernardo's replacement. So he's not actually an extra body. He's just replacing. And I know that's going to hurt many, but I keep saying it. I don't see Bernardo staying. And I hope he does. Listen, I pray he does. But they've looked at now. They've looked at, by the way, they've even looked at Eze and they've looked at Douglas Luiz. You're going to hear what's going on. There you go.
Tommy has just tweeted, welcome to City, Lucas Paquetá. The way is clear. So again,
he wants it. Pep wants it. It's going to happen. And City fans just need, if you're not into it, get watching him, because you're going to see a lot of him.
Listen, it might be time to ramp up the scout alongs. You know what I mean? West Ham, we will be there. I think we've got to play West Ham. Is it last game of the season we play West Ham?
Yeah.
Last game of the season, like it was under Pellegrini.
By the way, sorry, I read somewhere West Ham offered him a new contract. They were because they were talking about giving him the same terms as Bowen. Is it 200 odd grand a week? But he's not signed it. Tells you a lot.
Maybe I imagine. I don't know if that's true. I've not heard that, but I'd imagine that given with that contract would have been an increased release clause, and maybe he doesn't want it. It says here he's on the highest contract of anyone at West Ham anyway. He says he's on 150k a week, which is that's what
Bowen signed a new one.
Unless this isn't updated, bro. This might not have updated. This says he's on
120. What's Calvin on? I've not got my readers.
Calvin's on 150.
Jesus.
Danny Ings on 125.
It'd be interesting to know what we're.
Who the hell give Danny Ings 125 grand a week, man? That is a madness.
See, the Calvin Phillips one is because he's basically our wage over, isn't it?
Well, yeah. No, absolutely. But I think this would be a fantastic move if we can get this deal across the line. And I don't see why not. I'm excited for it. Bro, I'm buzzing for it, man. The only disappointing thing is that this probably means Bernardo Silva is leaving, and that's sad.
You're not gonna get Verts, and that they have to accept that one.
Well, you ain't. We ain't getting Verts, man.
Not you personally, just some City fans.
No. But I think you've got to listen. I want Verts. I think Verts is incredible player, and I think that he could do like Kevin De Bruyne type passes to Haaland and stuff. And I want him at City, but I just don't think this guy's leaving Bayer Leverkusen necessarily this year. It seems to me like Bayern really, really want this guy. What that means for Musiala, don't know, because can they have Musiala and Wirtz in the same team? Who knows? But I've kind of just parked Wirtz for 1 minute and say, I just don't think that's happening. I just don't think it is.
I've never got on the train. Never even got on the train. I know, listen, fans need to realise there's a difference between watching a player and signing a player.
Yeah, true.
But we have the listen. What soon I'll send you the full list. There's like 200 names on it. All clubs do the same. They just scout everyone, and then someone gets heard of it. That name could. I mean, we were linked with was he Japanese winger a few weeks back, and then everyone was like, "Oh, he's amazing." I'm like, "What?"
Oh, the guy from Sociedad.
Yeah,
it's like I did a watch along and he was pretty shit, to be honest.
It's like we're not going to sign him. We might be watching him. Doesn't mean we're going to sign him. See, like Craig's put there, that's the info I got. Is Kovacic is the one who only because, and again, I always say reportedly, Kovacic is if he's willing to be third, fourth choice, he's the rapid stay. But I know Galatasaray are very intrigued with him.
What would that be on a permanent deal then, or would that be a loan? Because we only just signed him.
I got told loan, but I don't know. Might be loans from I don't know. But like I said, Liam Delap will go out. McAtee will go out. Probably Sergio Gomez. There'll be a few out the door. So you are gonna need squad numbers. It's just we may go back to having, instead of having, and I don't like to call them fringe players, because it sounds so disrespectful when you start calling players fringe players. But remember the days when we had like 2 quality players in each position? We might go back to that. So instead of having, we might have one hell of a bench. We might have one hell of a bench. You look down and you're like, oh, Bernardo stays, right? Well, I've got Bernardo and I've got Paquetá and I've got KDB and I've got Foden and I've got Alvarez.
Yeah, look, the West Ham fans.
Imagine it.
This will be a weird position for West Ham fans because, like,
I was going to say, what's West Ham fans? It's West Ham Central or ex-West Ham employee are the two.
Yeah. Well, this guy's West Ham views, and it must be such a strange position because, like, this guy sums it up perfectly. On one hand, he's happy for him because he's not guilty. On the other hand, he's crying because that's the move to City happening in the summer. Like, it must be such a weird position. Like, it's literally a lose-lose situation, isn't it?
Because they know Paquetá wants City want Paquetá, and Pep wants Paquetá.
Yeah.
So it's. I think it's going to be the easiest deal you're probably going to see all summer. It's just going to release clause.
It should be because we had the deal agreed in the summer, and then obviously the news broke. So it's basically just going back and saying, right, the deal's the same. It is what it is, and it's obviously disappointing for West Ham because, like I say, mate, I don't think actually Lucas Paquetá gets the flowers that he deserves. When I watch him, mate, I genuinely think the guy's like an unreal baller. You know what I mean? And like you said before, Martin, I think he fit into this system, fit into this Pep Guardiola system perfectly. He's got that little bit of flair about him as well, which the fans will love. You know what I mean? That little flicks and tricks. He's got the work rate. Literally everything that you need really to make it at Manchester City, I think he's got. And for the money, 85 million quid. Like, I just think that's the going rate these days. You know what I mean? And if you don't want to pay it, then go and find someone else that's got the qualities of Lucas Paquetá. And by the way, even if you do, you're still going to be paying 50 million because everyone's a 50 million pound player nowadays.
You won't be getting someone with Paquetá's thing for less than 80. No chance.
Facts.
No chance. I think I feel like a broken record. Fans need to come off the Wirtz bus. Come off the Wirtz bus. I know it's going to hurt, but just accept that one. Paquetá, and I'm intrigued on who the other midfielder might be, whether it's Musiala, Kimmich. But see, again, I heard City could have got Musiala a while back when he first left Chelsea. And they didn't pull the trigger. Well, now, could the second midfielder be Douglas Luiz? Could it be Eze, who's at Palace they've been linked with? I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's a weird one.
I think yeah, big up to Irons in the chat. Good to see some West Ham fans giving their opinions on this as well. Says if you sign Paquetá, you're going to win everything. He's that good. Arsenal bought the wrong midfielder. says Irons. Now listen. Obviously, Rice has smashed it at Arsenal. To be fair, but I just genuinely think Paquetá. Irons, you'll know this because you watch him every week. I just think that he's massively underrated. And again, not to dig out Irons here, yeah, and the West Ham fans, but it's probably because like not enough eyes are on West Ham. He's not playing Champions League football. But I've watched this guy a lot, man, since we've been linked to him this season. And when I watch him for West Ham, mate, he's fucking quality. He is, and it shines through, man. And again, I don't want to come as like disrespectful, but you can clearly see that he's the best player on the pitch, man, for West Ham when he's playing. That game that he played against Arsenal, yeah, where he got subbed off after 33 minutes. That 33 minutes was unbelievable. He was class, bro. Why does LB think Paquetá is a generational talent? I'm telling you, man. He's an ex-Pele, this guy, yeah? He's an ex-Pele. Come on. Nah, he's unbelievable.
He has him as captain. He has him on captain on FIFA.
Yeah. maybe I'm gassing him up a little bit too much, but I'm just excited.
No, you should be gassing him up. You should, because he's versatile, he's skillful, chips in with goals. And do you know what I love? He's going to come with a hunger.
Yes.
And people always say, how did this City team keep going, winning trophy after trophy after trophy? Because we refresh the squad.
Mm.
And when you're buying a Paquetá or a Kimmich or whoever, they want to come in and they want to experience winning the Premier League, doing this. Listen, and also another thing fans need to realise, yes, United had Ronaldo and PSG have got Mbappe and all this, and that's all pulling power. And Madrid have out their names. Do you know who our pulling power is? It's Pep Guardiola.
Mm.
Pep is our Ronaldo in a way. He's the pull. Players want to play for Pep Guardiola.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be, and you know, you're going to have the experience of Kevin if he signs that new contract. Phil Foden going to get him. By the way, we're not even in Phil Foden's best years yet.
Yeah, I know.
Which is scary.
I know.
So I can't wait. You've got Doku, who's still young. But this is why I think fans also need to calm down on this Claudio Echeverri or a Savio, because they make that more than likely go out on loan. Which is okay.
Yes, Savio's, well, Echeverri's gone out alone. We already know that. The Savio one's the one where I think that Savio will be given pre-season. And
yeah,
he'll be
given America.
Yeah, he'll go to America and he'll be like, right, show us that you're ready now or not. And then obviously he'll have 2 or 3, he'll probably have one game because our pre-seasons are that crap that we have like one match of pre-season or they get like rained off or something. And he'll have to try and impress the manager.
Hey, they better not. I'm going pre-season this year.
No, you're not. You're going all the way to America.
Do you know how I've done it? Because I've got I'm going to Orlando in July for a family holiday, and then City announced we're playing in Orlando in July. So I went, thanks very much. That'll do me.
That's unreal. Have you got your tickets then? What's the ticket situation?
No, I don't know out yet. The fixture hasn't been announced, but I'm definitely going. I can't wait. It'll be weird. It'll be a day out of Disney World.
Yeah, the turkey legs, man. They're nice.
Disney World or Seta. Which one do I want to watch?
I know. Irons again says we didn't win a game when Paquetá was out. Now back with 1-2 on the spin. I mean, that's no coincidence. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is a coincidence. But like, it's 6 games without Paquetá in the team. They didn't win a single game. Drew 3, lost 3, and now he's back in the team. They won 2 on the spin. I mean, it does look a little bit like Paquetá might be the talisman for that team, which I guess for West Ham they're going to have to try and replace him somehow.
But, a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Honestly, it's crazy. The big question now is there's been a load of rumors saying City are signing 2 midfielders, and I know we spoke about this a few minutes ago, but like, could you see us potential? And obviously Musiala, we were linked with him the other day. Like he's rejected a new deal at Bayern Munich. Liverpool, City, and Real Madrid are all in for him. Could you see a world in which we sign Musiala and Paquetá? Because Paquetá doesn't just play midfield; he can play on the wings. He can play false 9.
Yeah,
as LB with the super chat says.
If I'm being honest, No.
You think we just get Paquetá?
No, I think it'll be Paquetá plus somebody else. Who
Who?
that somebody else is, I don't know.
Who would you put your money on?
Who I think City will go for properly,
Mm.
Douglas Luiz.
Really? Right, I did not expect that. That's
That's who I
comfort.
think
That's
they'll go
left
for.
field. Douglas
That's
Luiz
who I
at
think they'll
Aston
go for.
Villa. Mm.
Because he can play 8-6. Again, versatile. You could play. Listen, they've always liked Douglas Luiz as well. It was the work permit visa issues, wasn't it?
Yeah. We
And
actually
he's
signed
pulling
him, and then
trees up at Villa. Yeah, he's pulling trees up at Villa at the moment. He is doing marvellous. Now, the only thing with that is there's no release clause. I'm just guessing on that one. I know he's on the list, but whether or not it will be him, I don't know. It's just that is a total guess.
so it's a guess. It's a
Or
guess.
is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Is it? You tell me. You're the one that's telling me. Ask the question. He's got a contract.
I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule Douglas Luiz out.
Hey, yo, he's only got a contract until 2026, you know. 22 years left on the deal.
See, it's Kimmich, but will they go after Kimmich again? I don't. That buying situation is really weird because you've got 5 or 6 players who just want to get out the door there.
Yeah.
You've got Alphonso Davies who's already done one. Musiala won't sign anything. The relationship is not with Kimmich, is not just Tuchel, it's the whole club that has broken down with Kimmich.
That club.
I think what I got told was Kimmich feels betrayed by Bayern, not just Tuchel.
Yeah, probably, because he's probably looking at the state of the squad, man.
Yeah, it's not just a Tuchel thing, it's the hierarchy at Bayern. I don't know what Bayern have even tried to do this season.
Nah.
It's a weird one, that one. But we don't see the thing I always say about transfers, things can change on a sixpence.
Yeah.
Look at us in the summer. I always said this, we spent too long on Bellingham. We then tried to pivot onto Rice. And then we tried, and it was just pivot all the way around. And I think this season they've identified, and I think probably by the end of July, I think our business will be done.
Good, because that's how it should be. The only thing
I don't think August will buy anyone.
Yeah, the only thing I say on this, Matt, and I say it all the time, is I do give the club a little bit of leeway on the Bellingham one because they had to go all in for that. They couldn't pull out of Bellingham, which sounds weird. Yeah, but they had to stay in there. Still sounds weird until the very end. Yeah. Listen, because you couldn't just be like, oh, you stood up pictures with going. This guy's a generational talent, man. You know what I mean, Juve? So you had to stay there till the end. By that time, Rice had already agreed to go Arsenal. What can you do? And then obviously, then Paquetá gets done with the gambling charges. What can you do? It is what it is. Yeah. Hey, chat, chill, chill out. But yeah, now we need.
What they all going mad at? What's
pause?
What's everyone going?
Pause. Double pause. Hey, pause.
What are they pausing at?
Probably my comments on Jude Bellingham. Anyway, let's get past that. Built to VTech says more lopsided derby, Merseyside or Manchester. That's a great question.
Manchester.
That's a great question.
No, at least Everton put a fight up. Honestly, Liverpool fans, I was listening, which I know, I was listening to Hussam and Tom Little earlier, and they were worried about going to Goodison Park.
Nah.
When was the last time we were worried going to Old Trafford?
Nah, bro. This is what you Liverpool fans are doing at the moment, though. Like,
They're a mess. No, United are a mess.
I listen to
United
Liverpool fans, bro. And
mess going.
They're like, oh, this game good. This is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a tough game. I'm like, bro, I back your team more than you back your own team. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Listen.
I've told you, I think Sunday's must-win time. We cannot afford to allow Liverpool to go 4 clear. Because the thing is, Liverpool ain't going to lose 2 games. City won't probably lose 2 games. And Arsenal aren't going to lose 2 or 3 games. Yeah, so you back down to your fine margins.
Yeah,
you cannot give an edge anymore with 11 games left. But anyway, that's by the by on a separate.
Just quickly before I forget, VTech City, you need to DM me on Twitter or Instagram because you won the giveaway yesterday on the watch along. I don't know if you was in there, but please will you message me on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll get that giveaway sorted and get it sent to you, bro. But yeah, I don't know if you've messaged me already.
Someone's just asked you for a pray along. You need more than a pray along for Sheffield United against Arsenal.
Nah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Listen, we can combine all the religions together. No amount of praying tonight is going to get us anything. You know what I mean? That is a dead rubber if I've ever seen one. It's going to be at least 5-0. At least, because Arsenal tonight are just battering everyone. Arsenal at the moment in the league, their league form is superb. Yeah, and they're going through statistically the worst team in the league. And I'm just going to swerve it, man. I'm just going to absolutely swerve that, to be honest with you.
So it's one of them, you ignore it and then have a quick look about 10 o'clock just to see if a miracle's happened.
No,
but
I'll
it's
be
one
there
of them,
on
you look at
standby.
it and go, yeah,
I'll be there on stand. I'll be sat in this chair on standby, waiting to hit the go live button. But the chances of that actually happening are very, very slim. So
no, but you know, it's like Saturday. We hit the 97th minute, and I'm like, Liverpool are going to score. You could just see what was coming.
Yeah.
It was like just inevitable.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know if you've seen the news. Big up Ox in the chat for reminding me. And big up Craig. I think this is the same guy. Have you seen this Benfica Donny called Neves? João Neves plays for Benfica. Apparently, City had a scout. City had a scout at Sporting Lisbon versus Benfica, a registered scout there. So we know that City are interested in a player involved in that game. Now, there's been heavy rumours suggesting City are in for this João Neves. Still very young. I think he's 19 years old. I've not watched him live. I've only seen him on the YouTube compilations, to be honest with you. He looks like a player, obviously, coming out of Portugal, very technically gifted. He's got that Portuguese like bite about him. You know what I mean? Like you see with Paquetá, you see a lot of these Portuguese players like they don't just they're not lazy. They work extremely hard and they love to get stuck into a challenge. I think you see that with Matheus Nunes there as well. But it looks like the transfer fee could be a bit of an issue. He's got a huge release clause. I think it's 100. Maybe Craig can let me know in the chat. He's got £100 million release clause. Now, maybe you can get him for less than that.
120. Is it 120?
You know what? It might be 120.
One might be euros. I always get, because I never know if people are doing it in euros or they're doing it in pounds anymore. So
yeah, he looks like a top player. Apparently, Tiki really likes him.
Yeah, I could see Bernardo going to Benfica. That's the only way I see Bernardo going to Benfica. And he'd have to lower his wages because they're not going to give him 300 grand a week at Benfica. But yeah, I like him. But he's a young lad. Again, he would need time. I don't think, you're 19 years old. He's got bags and bags of talent, but he's still 19. And it would be down to the fear of what you're going to do. But if that happens, because again, a player that I like and I love, I think he's a quality player. But I'm always a bit, not hesitant, but I'm a bit more at 19. Like, just see. Because we've been down this road so many times. Savio signs, he's going to be a baller, he's going to be world class. Doku signs, he's going to be world class. It's like, let these lads develop. The young, the kids. You wouldn't say to your 17 or 18-year-old at home, come on, son, why are you not Kevin De Bruyne already? You'd be like, let him develop. But again, we get giddy as fans, don't we? It's like Christmas when transfers come out. We all get giddy and we all have a transfer merry-go-round.
Yeah.
But
that's it.
What did Craig put that about Douglas? What was it? Douglas, Kimmich, and Neves.
Sorry, where's he put that?
I think you had it up a minute ago. Yeah.
CDM targets. Kimmich is number 1. Which, and to be fair, Kimmich is probably out of the 3. He's probably the cheapest because he's only got a year left on the deal. He seems like he don't want to be there anymore. And he's worked with Pep Guardiola before. So, that seems like a deal that you might be able to get done. Douglas Luiz, Prem proven. Looks like a top player. I think he's a little bit younger than Kimmich as well, but it's probably going to cost you a little bit more. Pep likes him. He's going to cost you a little bit more money. And then Neves is completely the different end of the scale compared to the first two. He's much more gamble, high price because you're paying for that potential. But there's obviously the chance that you could get a diamond there with Neves. So it depends on where you want to go on that scale. For me, if I was talking about those three, I'd probably go towards Kimmich, because then as well, you wouldn't have to sign a right back because he could probably play that position.
Kimmich is my favourite because Kimmich is one of them players that I've always been like, if City could sign him, City could just get Kimmich. You know, when we were young and we always did them dream signings, Kimmich was always in mind. I think Tony even said it as well. I think Kimmich is a lot of people's. 120. That's what I thought. But I don't know why. I've got a sneaky feeling it's going to be Douglas Luiz. Don't know why.
Still not signed a new contract yet. So something's going on there.
I just feel because we are kind of after the CDM, but I think we'll go for a more versatile one who can play the 8, like Kimmich, who can play CDM. The best thing about Kimmich is he can play in defence. He can play right back. So
and he can play in that slightly more advanced position as well, Kimmich. He's got good numbers, man.
Yeah, because personally, I don't see Jan Kutu coming in. That's just me personally. I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah.
So
we're going full Brazilian mode, says LB. Yeah, we are.
But then you've got the other thing. It's like, what do you do with Cancelo? How the hell do you get him off the books?
I just think you got to keep loaning him and just collecting the loan fees, man, and then you'll end up losing him on a free.
But I know they don't really want to do that.
No, you don't really want to do it. But who's going to pay big? No one's paying 50 million for Cancelo, mate. No one's paying 40 million for him.
No. The problem is he signed up to a new contract, got $250,000 a week, and then had a kickoff. It's like the worst time to have the kickoff is when you've just signed a brand new contract. Because you're locked in, was it 2027?
Yeah. Do you see any way back for this guy?
No.
Nah, not do I. I just wanted to ask you just in case you did.
I think you might see him. You might see him on pre-season, like you did last year. Might go on pre-season, but then you shot window in it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't think there's any way back.
Nah.
Yeah, you can't do what he did and then come back. I mean, deep down, Pep never really forgave Yaya. Yeah, to be totally honest. I mean, Yaya had that bust up, so.
Yeah, I think Pep Guardiola's got that sort of seniority about him where, like, he's got the power. You know, like Sir Alex Ferguson used to have at United, where like you couldn't win. You could be in the right as a player. You could be in the right. You done nothing wrong. But if you went head to head with the manager, even if you was right, you was losing.
You don't win. You don't win.
Don't win. Even if you're right.
I think Pep's a lot more ruthless than people give him credit for. I think he's really ruthless.
Well, actually, if you go back to his back, I don't know if did you watch that Pep Guardiola documentary on BBC?
The BBC one. Yeah.
Well, it's common knowledge anyway, but they reiterated that this notion and this myth that Pep Guardiola walked into Barcelona and everything was rosy is the biggest load of BS you've ever heard. This is from football fans that just want to play down what Pep Guardiola has achieved. He actually went into Barcelona. They were a mess. They was a mad, like, they was in a mad position, yeah? They was fucked, basically. And he's made some big calls. He got rid of Ronaldinho. He got rid of Deco. He got rid of some big players. And he put Messi. Again, people say, oh, Pep only won because of Messi. Pep made the team around Messi. Rijkaard didn't do that. Pep Guardiola said, I'm making Messi my main man. Sit a bit, Zlatan. And he made that happen. So he was ruthless, and he made those calls. And, you know,
Deco. Was it Deco as well he got rid of?
Yeah, Deco. He got rid of Deco as well.
Rival. No, was it Rival? Was it Rivaldo?
Nah, I think he was already.
Trying to think of a timeline. Was it Ronaldinho? It was one of many. Well, I know Pep went in there and just went, because it's like that myth of he didn't play youngsters. Half of that Barcelona team was from La Masia.
Yeah, well, he
I don't know where this thing came from.
He won Segunda B with Barcelona B, and he with the Pedros and the Busquets and that. You know what I mean? So listen, that's I mean, we got a bit off topic there, but
Iniesta and all them were not in Barcelona's first team when Pep turned in.
He was just unbelievable. He was unbelievable. Yeah. But someone said, Craig said one last thing just before we wrap up. What City want to sign a right back, left back, winger, Cam, CDM with Gomez, Cancelo, Howard, Bellis, and Delat all leaving the football club. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a left back and a right back.
3. Yeah, that's 5. That's what I heard was they wanted 5.
Yeah, I don't think we need a left back and a right back though, personally. I think that's overkill.
The right back, you get away with that if you did a Kimmich. Left back, I know there was the rumours, was it Miguel Gutierrez, whatever his name is?
Oh, Jerome. Mate,
I know United have now looked at.
Oh, don't go there, man. Don't go there. Ruin your career, honestly.
So my Bernardo, innit? He's gone away with all our secrets. The winger I heard could be Neto. They are interested in Pedro Neto.
Yeah.
There was concerns on injury records. The cam, probably Paquetá. And then you see the choice out of 2, Kimmich or Douglas Luiz. It's going to be intriguing. It's going to be really intriguing. And I think this is why I've always said, for me, this is Arsenal's and Liverpool's best chance to win the league. Because we won't have another summer which personally I don't think it was that bad, but I know many think we didn't have a greatest summer. We won't have that again.
Yeah.
So we're only going to get stronger next year.
You think so? 100% you think so. And actually, I don't think it's that difficult to improve. You bring in Paquetá, which is a simple transfer, we're improved. You bring in Kimmich, which should be a simple transfer if he wants to move, we'll improve. Maybe buy a defender, let a couple players go who maybe coming to the end of their career or want to leave, don't feel like they're getting enough football. You've improved the squad. Do you know what I mean? So, but I do think, we said it before, I do think that we have to get an extra body in there because of the extra games that we're going to be playing in the coming years. Big up to Austin with a 6-month member chat. Says thoughts on Couto or Kabore coming back. Well, Kabore is not coming back, mate. That's not happening. And to be honest with you, I don't want him. When he was in Troyes and they asked him if he wanted to come City, he was like, nah, I didn't really want to come back. And then Couto, listen, going forward, this guy's special. I still have my concerns about his physicality in the defense.
Do you know what it reminds me of, LB? João Cancelo Mark II. Great going forward, garbage defending.
He just looks too small for me as a defender.
And it just worries me. And by the way, we've got Rico.
Yeah, he's still got Rico. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they'll cash in on Couto. I think he's got a year or 2 years left on his deal. Some big clubs are going in for him. I think we'll cash in and take some big cash on him. So I don't think he's going to be playing. Frimpong, yeah, maybe. I think, again, he's probably going to get a move this summer, maybe. But are we going to go back into him? We'll have to wait and see. But listen,
I heard Arsenal interested in him as well, Frimpong.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's going to get a move maybe to the Premier League. I think he's obviously done really well this year, so we'll see if he gets.
I think that whole Bayern team could be. Do you know that? I know you were closing. You know that Bayern Leverkusen team reminds me of. Do you remember the Monaco team?
Oh, the Monaco team. Yeah, I fucking do remember Monaco. Yeah, okay, now.
Yeah, well, we all do. Should all remember Monaco. But do you remember? And then they had them really. Have you got your channel back now?
I know. Wait a second. Is this actual MCFC lad?
Yeah,
or is this the hacked guy? If this is the hacker, get off the account, man. Free MCFC lads. Everyone spam hashtag free MCFC lads in the chat.
By the way, I've got to give Luke. Luke was quality on the United stand. Quality. Loved it. Well done, Luke.
Yeah, it was
quality,
very, very
mate. Well, where was he at now? You've lost me now. Can you see, Luke? You've thrown me. It's your fault.
But yeah, just to clarify, Martin hasn't sold his car.
No, I think that Leverkusen team, when Alonso goes, I think you might see 4 or 5 of their players just disappear with him. Well, maybe not all with him, but
potentially.
Yeah, because it tends to happen.
I mean, to be honest, bro, they've got the money. They're owned by they're owned by Bayer, a £50 billion pharmaceutical company. So there's no excuse for not giving them the money.
I say Frimpong out. I think Wirtz will go, but I always think he'll stay in Germany. So there's Frimpong and Wirtz gone. Alonso's going to go. So, yeah, maybe not as big as Monaco, but I do think he could be. But we'll see. But it shows how great we are. If we win 4 in a row, that shows how great we are. Because for me, this is the best chance Liverpool and Arsenal will have, because we will. I think we'll go strong in the summer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Lads,
Big
by the
time.
way, says he's back in the account, but a lot of stuff to sort out there. So that's good news to see that he's back in the
Hope you
account.
saw it, mate.
He's got his vlog up as well, guys. So go check out his vlog if you're not already done so. But listen, we're gonna wrap up. Big up to Martin.
His security is about as good as City's was.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Getting
It's the same hacker. It's the same hacker, mate. Yeah. Martin doing
Bayern
these
Munich
deals with Etihad and Etisalat. Yeah, no wonder the guys at every game. The guy's balling out. Listen, guys, gonna wrap up there. Big up to Martin for jumping on. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this stream. Just to confirm, actually, before we go, because someone might have just jumped in towards the end. The reason why I've done this stream is because the Brazilian team director Rodrigo Catiano says he's a very high level athlete. He does not have any investigations or accusations underway. We are now just waiting on the sort of official statement to say that the charges have been dropped. But again, this was always the likely outcome, that he was gonna be okay, because it's not even him that placed the bet, so it was going to be a tricky one to prove. But yeah, listen, I'm not, just for people asking, I'm not doing an Arsenal watch along just because I'm on watch along now, and I've got 3 watch alongs this week. I've got Bayern tomorrow, City on Wednesday, and then I'm going to do some like Europa League ones on Thursday, because there's actually some decent games on Thursday. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Smash a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel. Do you want to say something, man?
No, I was going to say, he's not doing a watch along until the 85th minute when Arsenal won down.
Yeah. I'm on standby mode. I'm on standby mode, guys. I'm on standby mode. But I'll leave you with this. I'll see you later. Peace.